Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Williams, and I'm joined by my colleague Katrina, and we are a part of the customer success team here at Session Board, and we are going to be walking through a portals customer training for you all today. And so, as you all are aware, recently we have revamped our portals, and we are so excited to show those to you today. But before we dive in and get started, I just want to walk through why we actually rebranded our portals. And so we heard a lot of different needs and requests from clients, various ones such as, we want our speakers to be able to edit certain aspects of their session, or maybe we don't want to show the session submission form to our speakers after they've completed it. So a lot of these different various requests that have come in, we have taken them, we have worked with our team, and we have now produced our new portal experience, which we're happy to showcase to you all today. So I want to first remind you all of what our current portal experience looks like. And this is what you all are actually utilizing right now at this very moment. So our current portal is as such, it's very linear. You can scroll through your portal to be able to see the sessions you're associated with, the tasks that are assigned to you, and then of course, any resources that have been shared with you or to you by the event admin team. But now with our new portal experience, it definitely has a little bit more of a visual interest. And so there are a lot of updates. I won't mention them right now, but over the course of our training today, we're going to dive into a lot of these different changes and how you can brand this portal to your event liking. And then of course, at the end, we will hold time for questions. So if you do have questions, please type them in the chat. We'll make sure to get to as many as we can by the end of our call. And then also we will at the end walk through next steps. So if you want to leverage this new portal experience for your event, we'll talk about how you can do so. And then also, if you have any questions, how you can reach out to us. But to get started, I'm going to pass it along to Katrina, and she's going to walk us through those beginning steps for implementing this new portal experience.
Thank you, Jasmine, and welcome everyone. So as I share my screen, we'll be looking at this from the admin perspective. So we're going to the same exact starting point for our portals. For today's walkthrough, we won't be going through creating of custom portals, but pointing out some of our updates. So as I click on our ellipses, you'll see a few additional options that we did not previously have. So now we have edit tasks completely separate from edit the settings of the specific portal that you are working within. We still have duplicate, delete, and edit our criteria. Same as previously, all of the portal links have the same exact link. So no matter how many portals you create, including these session tasks, everyone will have the same exact link. So to get started, we'll take a look at one of the updates being session level tasks. Now, these session tasks can be created on the form, file request, or task area. Now, when you click on Create Form, we'll have sessions as an additional option here. So we can focus on session-specific information separately from our contact information. This is a great improvement because now we can ask our speakers to update only session-specific details without needing to go all the way back to that session submission form. We can also decide who has access to the specific session form itself. So once we've created our session form, as you see, they're segmented out, just like our people or group forms if you're using our sponsor or exhibitor module. Then once we get to our portal area, I'm going to click on my ellipses and edit tasks. Just like before, this is where we're going to assign our created session form task file request. So I'll go to Assign Forms, update my session title as an example. And once this is added, I'm going to go through my actions to complete the additional settings for this specific task. So on edit, you'll see we have a couple new options here. We can still set a due date and allow edits. So if I want this form to only be completed once, I'll turn this off. If I want it to be completed multiple times, I'll keep it on. Make completed tasks view only. So as we all know, we have multiple speakers that are tied to the same session sometimes. If I want one person or an edit to only be completed one time, let's say update the session title, I can mark this task as view only. So if Jasmine here completes this form and I'm a co-speaker, I'll see that she's completed that form from my portal experience. It's completed for me, and I can move on to my next task. The Assign by filter is another new feature that is only available on our session level tasks. We can add up to 3 filters here. So when I add my filter, I'm going to be focusing primarily on my core session information, so our formats or our tags. We can add our additional custom fields if they are a dropdown on the session level. So for my tags, just like when I'm making the criteria for my filter for my portal here, I can say my tag is, and we'll focus on academia for this specific. We'll use don't review instead as my task.
Maybe
And if I needed to add, sorry, go ahead, Jasmine.
maybe track is academia.
I think you're correct.
So many different options that we have.
So many. You're correct. Academia. If I needed to add an additional filter, this is going to continue to drill down on the options, and I can see the number of sessions that match this specific filter. I'll go ahead and update, and now from my view as an admin, I can see whether or not I've added a filter and what that filter actually is. Now let's take a look at this from the portal user experience. So as an admin, as we all know, I can click on my portal here in the top right-hand corner to open up the portal for myself. And this is also the view of all of our speakers. So here I'm seeing our updated portal. I can view those tasks in two different ways. I can click on a actual session here, and if it's accepted, I can see any tasks that are assigned. I can also scroll down and I can see the name of the session itself and any tasks that are assigned to that specific session. So here's my update session title, which we just assigned here. I can open this up and I'll be brought straight to that task right here. That is our new form. And as you see, if I scroll down, not all of my tasks or not all of my sessions have this new update session title, only the sessions that are also belonging to my academia track. So this session does not hold that. And that is all on my side for right now. I'll pass this back to Jasmine.
Thanks, Katrina. So as a reminder with the session task, something to keep in mind is that you do need to create it as a session task. So that is that new option that you'll see when you are creating, whether it's a form, a file request, or just a simple task. But let's transition into some of the setting options. And so when we're taking a look at our portal, as Katrina did mention, when you're selecting that ellipses to the right of a specific portal, there are additional options listed, and I'm going to be focusing on edit settings. This is going to take us to page 3 and page 4. Now you will see some of the existing settings that you're used to seeing featured here. So we've taken them from page 2. Previously, that's where a lot of the settings lived, along with where you can assign those various tasks. But we now separated it into 2 additional pages, 3 and 4, with some additional settings added. First, starting off with control session visibility. This allows for you to remove that sessions widget or that sessions card that is visible in the portal. So when we're taking a look at a portal, we have this box called My Sessions. If I do disable this setting here, what's nice is that I'm going to be able to see my sessions completely removed from the portal for our speakers or our moderators or even our chairpersons. You will also see that the button at the very top in this navigation bar that we have for My Sessions is also removed. So that gives you that flexibility to show or hide sessions when needed. Now, next you have view session submission form. And so as I mentioned previously, one of the common requests that we've heard from teams is we don't want people to be able to go back into their form and make edits after they've submitted it. And so we have this setting here. By default, it's turned on, but if you do turn it off, it will allow you to block or not allow those users to go back into their form. So to show you where that lives, I'm going to turn back on my sessions card. And I'm actually going to click on one of my sessions that I do have. I'm going to select this first one. Now, at the very bottom of this side panel, we're going to see the button of View Submission. And when I click that, it takes me back into that submission form, which is what you're used to experiencing. But if I did go in and I disabled that feature and I go in and I refresh my portal, we will now see that that View Submission button is no longer visible at the bottom of the screen. Next, you have always show tasks. This is a setting that you all are used to seeing. So we just brought it again to a different page, page 3. If this setting is turned on, and keep in mind it is on by default for any portal that you are creating, but when the setting is turned on, that means any contact assigned to this portal is going to see the task you have listed under the task widget. If you do have this setting turned off, that means that I, as a portal user, have to be a speaker with a approved or an accepted session to see that task. Again, this setting is not new, but just walking through what the expectation is for that setting here. We also have the extend task deadlines. Again, not a new setting, a setting that we just moved to page 3. This allows for users to complete tasks past the due date that you have set. And so as you all are aware, when you are creating and assigning tasks to the portal, you can assign an independent or individual due date. But we all know that sometimes portal users may need some flexibility when it comes to that date. So with the extend portal task deadline, you're able to allow users to complete a task past that indicated due date. Something to keep in mind with this setting is that it does apply to every task that you have assigned to that portal. So with this example here, I can extend the task due date all the way up to 31 days past the assigned due date. So that means I can go in and complete any task that I may need to 30 days past the due date indicated in the portal. I'm going to skip these two settings for right now. I'm going to come back to them because this will actually lead us to page 4. So going to these final two settings at the bottom, reminders. Again, these are not new settings, but just move to a separate page. We have the send weekly digest email and email notifications. Now, to learn more about these two settings, I do want to direct your attention to our Help Center article or our knowledge base. Here, you can actually locate a article titled Automated Emails. And you're actually going to be able to see an example of what these emails look like if you were to enable them. But going back into the portal setting itself, if you do enable weekly digest email, this is an email that gets sent to the portal users every Monday morning, giving them just an overall status of their portal. How many tasks do they have in their portal? What those tasks are? What is the due date? And then have they completed it? Is it overdue or is it still pending? All of these are really nice to know as a portal user, and it eliminates the need for you as an admin user to go in and send reminder emails to your users. And then you also have the email notifications. When this is turned on, anytime I assign a task to this portal, the users receive an email letting them know that a new task is available for them. So this is really helpful if you foresee yourselves adding tasks throughout your event lifecycle and you don't want to send those manual emails to the users to let them know that you've added one more thing for them to complete. You could just turn this setting on and Session Board will do the work for you. It will create that email and it will send it just to let them know that a new task is available for them to see. Now going back up to these two settings that we have, manage profile and manage related sessions and participants, these two actually are going to be are going to coincide with the widgets of my sessions and my profiles. It's dictating or determining what you can or cannot edit versus what you can see and what you cannot see. So to better explain that, I'm going to pass it over to Katrina, and she's going to actually focus more on page 4. Again, that's where you can control what people can see and do when you have managed profile and managed related sessions and participants enabled.
Thank you. Right, so similarly to how in the configuration step, when we are showing whether or not speakers can see their submission form, we have the same exact permission for their profile. So in Manage Profile, speaking to this toggle first, when this is toggled on, from a user perspective, they will see the ability to click View More when they're looking at their profile. If we turn this off, then View More is not going to be visible for the speaker at all. And I'll refresh my screen here. So in this scenario, they're able to see their first name, last name, and their company, but they aren't able to click into their profile and make any edits here. This is a great use case if you do not want your speakers to always update their information, or perhaps you've already started to print out your agenda and you don't want any edits anymore. You would prefer your speakers to go through a form instead. If you would we're early on and you'd like everyone to be able to edit all of their personal information, we can toggle on Manage Fields. When this is turned on, along with Manage Session Relation or Manage Related Sessions and Participants, in our next step, we have the ability to manage which fields are going to be viewable to your speakers and what they may and may not edit. So Manage Related Sessions and Participants is speaking to our options here when we're clicking on our session pop out on the side, whether or not I have this edit button when I'm looking at my session detail, and also when I'm looking at my other participants for a session. So from a session where I have co-speakers, I can click on and see the other speakers here. And if I click on Amanda, I see this edit button. If we turn this option off, then I will not see that edit button. So very simple, very similar to our control session visibility or always show tasks. I'm going to turn this back on and go to the next page where we get to decide which fields are actually going to be manageable by the speaker or a group participant on that session. So focusing on our contact fields, these are going to be focusing on the specific fields that a user can see within their profile. Because I had previously turned this off, I'm going to refresh again so I get view more again. So here, when I can actually see my profile, as an admin, you can decide per portal which fields are going to be available to your end user. Via Show Hide Fields, this is where you can select any of our standard fields, but also event or custom specific fields. As you've added all of your specific information, you can also click on Edit Actions to lock or remove that field. Let's say we have already collected their first name. I want to show that information, but I don't want my speaker to change it at all. I can click Lock under Actions, and now that speaker cannot make any changes to their first name, but they can see that we've collected that information. Clicking over to Event Info, this is where we're going to see any of the custom fields that we've created. So for an example here for registration promo, I want you to know this information all of the time, but I do not want you to change that code that's specific to you as a speaker. So I'll just have this as view only. So these are the same exact opportunities that we have when we're focusing on our session fields. But as a fun fact for our session fields, we can also rearrange the order in which anything beyond our title and description are shown in. So what I mean by that is if I want tags to be listed first and then speakers and track, I can update that order here, click save, and now as a speaker, and I'll refresh to show this. When I click into the session pop over, I see my title, description, and then tags are listed first. So we can reorder this arrangement at any time. Same exact opportunities with editing our fields. If I do not want my speakers to see this edit button here, I'll turn off editing, and I can also lock some of these specific fields. So perhaps I want my speakers to be able to amend their title or description, but not make any changes to their tags or tracks. I can lock tags and tracks so they're not able to touch that information at all. As they're making updates, they will be shown immediately. So any update that you as a speaker makes, the admin team will be able to see in the admin view as well. When we're speaking to the contact and group participants, these are the opportunities for a co-speaker to come in and make any edits for another speaker that is tied to their session. So again, first, last, bio, when I'm clicking on a session that I'm tied to, I can click over to participants and select my co-speakers and potentially make edits for them. This is helpful in a scenario of, I know Amanda is very busy here. I have a quick update to their bio. We work together and I can make a slight update to their jobs description or anything that is applicable. All of this, again, is going to be accessible on the back end as an admin team once updates are made.
Thanks, Katrina. And lastly, want to walk through appearance settings that we do have. So a little bit more flexibility and customization when it comes to your portal experience. Again, a lot of these settings are similar to what you are aware of and what you're utilizing right now in the current portal experience. But under general, you still have your welcome message. You still have an area where you can upload a logo and a background image. Something to keep in mind is that with these two images, though, you do want to reference the recommended sizes. And then if you want to change the accent color for any of the cards that are listed in the portal, so these widgets here, the headers, you can change their colors. you can change that in the backend as well with the accent color. So you can use a specific color using a hex code to make sure that it aligns with your event and organization branding there. And if you're a little bit more experienced, you can also add CSS again to just up that level of customization and branding so that it definitely references the overall look and feel of your event or organization. Now, to take us to the end of our training, we want to highlight some additional callouts just to keep in mind as you are thinking about or working within this new portal experience. The first one is when you are within this new portal experience, if you do have to switch between portals, let's say I'm a speaker, but I'm also a part of a sponsorship or a sponsor group, and I want to view that sponsor group. On the right-hand side at the very top, you're going to be able to see the icon. Right now, it's referencing my name because I'm viewing the portal as a user, as a contact. I can select my icon. I can select switch portals, and this will allow me to switch between the different portals I have access to. So like I mentioned, if I'm connected to a sponsor portal, I can select that sponsor, and then it will take me into that portal to see the tasks and any other resources that have been shared with me. Now, the second call out to make is in regards to session content. And so, if you do allow your speakers to upload files or content to a session, I want to walk through what that looks like in this new experience. And so, if I click on one of my sessions, I'm going to see the option here of files. So something to keep in mind is that currently in portals, what you're used to seeing is the word content. But keep in mind that now in this new portal experience, you will see the word files. Now that also brings me to my next point. We know that sometimes when you are utilizing session content, you create a task, and that task walks through for the speaker how they can locate the session and then how they can go through and upload a file. So, as you all know, we have a collection in our knowledge base. It's called Portal Users, where we share articles that you could reference when communicating with your event contacts, or even use these directly linking them within your portal. So, calling out that this new portal experience now has a new subset of articles that you can share with your users. This is designated with the title of Portals Pro. So specifically, if you were previously using our older article that referenced how to upload content and make comments, you want to make sure to update that link. It's now going to be a new link that has new images that walk through the process for this new portal experience. So something to keep in mind there. Now, with that being said, if you do have any questions, let's say you are using the new portal experience, if you have questions, please, as a reminder, reach out to support@sessionboard.com to get in contact with the appropriate CSM member, and we'll be able to assist you along the way. But most importantly, how can I start using this new portal experience? So if you do want to use this and leverage it for your event, again, please reach out to support@sessionboard.com. Your respective CSM will be able to enable it on your event. Something to keep in mind, when it is enabled, this will automatically show those additional setting options in the backend for you as an admin user, but also keep in mind this will change the experience for your portal users. So when we automatically turn that on, it will make that change. So keep that in mind. With that being said, I don't see that we have any questions in our chat, but I'm going to take a few short minutes for you all to gather any thoughts that you have and to type any questions that you may have in the chat here. One question I will say that was asked in a previous training that we did have, as you all are thinking about questions that you may have, is for this new portal experience, if I wanted to create other portals for different use cases, so creating custom portals, maybe for a session submitter or creating a portal for a moderator, can I do that? And the answer is yes. So in the backend, you still have that capability to create custom portals. We did not eliminate that at all because we know that is, I would say, one of our power features with our portals. So you can still create custom portals, and the process of assigning a portal and those additional settings that we walked through today will be available on the custom portals that you have created. So I'll turn it over to Katrina. We're going to walk through or address those questions that you're asking in our chat now. We're going to bounce off from Katrina and myself. So, Katrina, if you want to take the first one.
Thank you. Hi, Rick. So for the email settings on Email Digest, those emails are sent every Monday at 7 a.m. UTC.
And the next question, are there new features active now or is there a date when it will go live? Great question. So you can actually leverage this new portal experience now, but as a reminder, you want to reach out to support@sessionboard.com so your CSM member can enable it on your event. And keep in mind, once it is enabled, it will then show that new portal experience for your portal users. So keep that in mind. I know also another question that was brought up previously, along kind of goes in line with the last question that was asked was, is there a identified date for when the older portals will be sunsetted? And the question to that is there is no confirmed date, and that is because we are really truly asking you all to make that determination of do you want to enable this new portal experience or not? Something to keep in mind is that any new events created moving forward will use the new portal experience, but for any events that are currently active and ongoing, you do not have to switch over to this new portal experience. You can continue with the portals that you already have created and set up. And then when we're working on with you for your next event, you would then leverage that new portal experience that we have.
Another call out from our previous webinar, just as a note, with this update that we have made, when we're looking at our updated portals here, the big change, so as Jasmine called out, oh, I'm so sorry. We are now using files to collect content on the session level. That does not mean we no longer have files as evergreen content for your portal users. So we still have a files module here. This is a piece of content that your users can download at any time. So an agenda or any additional helpful information for your speakers.
And next question that has come in, will this impact forms we've already been collecting in the current portals? Great question. So the answer to that is no. If you already started collecting information through portal forms or even file requests, those results will still be available to you in the backend when you switch over to the new portal experience. In addition, your portal users will still see any tasks they have completed as marked as completed. So the only thing that will change for your portal users is definitely the look and the feel of it. But anything that they've already completed, any resources that you've previously shared, or even any sessions that were visible in that portal will still be existent.
And the other question is support@sessionboard.com the correct email? Yes, Nikki, that is the correct email. Please reach out to us to request that this be turned on or activated for your event. And on that note, this is an event by event. So if you have multiple events within an organization, one of them you would prefer to remain on our previous portal experience, that is not an issue. We can enable this for upcoming and future events only.
Question, how do I enable files to appear as one of the sections on the main page? Right now, I'll only see home, sessions, profile, and tasks. Good question. So this is going to be connected to the portal that you have in the back end. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're just going to be working with this default people portal, but keep in mind, this also applies to any custom portals that you may have created. So I'm going to go into the edit task section where you can assign different items. And you want to make sure that you're assigning those files that you want to share here within the widget of share files. Of course, keep in mind, you want to make sure you have that file created or added to your event, and then assign that file to your portal. Once you have that file assigned here, this will trigger the button of files at the top to appear. And when I click on it, it will take me to that widget where I'm able to view the files that you have uploaded.
Exactly. We're trying to streamline the portal experience. So if you aren't using a module, no need to show it to those speakers. Matt, will this recording be available and shared? Yes, we will be sharing this recording and we will be posting this to our knowledge base after we've done some minor editing, so we're appearing nice and clean to you all.
So if I program a number of tasks this week with digest turned on and email notifications turned off, my speakers will receive the notification on Monday at 7 a.m. That is correct. So they'll receive that email every Monday morning, 7 a.m. UTC time. And something to keep in mind also for those, whether it's the weekly digest email or even the email notifications, you can always turn this on or off at any moment in time. Let's say your event is maybe 5 months out and you don't want that weekly digest email to be sent right now. You can leave it turned off. Leave it turned off. And then as you get closer to that event time, maybe a month or two out, you can then enable it. So you do have flexibility there. Understand. I know a common comment that I get definitely on my side is, this one session board is great. It's definitely helped streamline our process and save us time, but definitely a learning experience. And just know that we are here to assist you, whether it's you're working with Katrina or myself, or even both of us in tandem. We're here to support you. So if you do have questions, please reach out to support@sessionboard.com. If you have any questions about how something will appear in your portal, we can definitely walk you through, even show an example of how that will appear in your portal so you feel confident using it moving forward. We've even had some teams request like if they can have a test environment, and those we do provide on a case-by-case basis. So feel free to just reach out to support@sessionboard.com so that we can help and assist you in any way that we can. Any final comments, Katrina? I don't think I have any.
I don't either. I'm racking my brain to see if there's any helpful tips that we can come up with, but I feel like everyone is well equipped at this point.
I agree. Something to keep in mind is all of our portal Help Center articles have been updated. So if you're referencing or looking for an article, let's say for tasks, you will see in that article the reference of the words Portals Legacy and Portals Pro. So keep in mind the portal that we walked through today, our new portal experience is going to be Portals Pro. If you're using our older portal, then that's going to be Portals Legacy. So keep that in mind when you are referring to our Help Center articles. But thank you all so much for joining. As Katrina mentioned, this recording will be made available to you since you have registered for the event, and we'll also be sending out an email at large to everyone so that we can make sure that they have access to it. It will also be available in our help center, so making sure that's available across different platforms. But again, if you have any questions, if you want this new portal experience enabled for you, reach out to support@sessionboard.com, and we look forward to assisting you with your upcoming events. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all.